Hello, my name is Randi Terry. I did my project on Betty Friedan. So, who is Betty Friedan? She was an activist in the feminist movement in the 1960s and 70s with second wave feminism. She was an author, a speaker, and organizer. She was a founding member of the National Organization for Women, or NOW. Some of her most important works include The Feminine Mystique and Beyond Gender. This is just some background knowledge about Betty. She was born on February 4th, 1921 in Illinois. She actually died on the same day in 2006. Both of her parents were immigrants. Her father was from Russia and her mother was from Hungary. She married a man named Carl Friedan in 1947 and had 3 kids with him. She graduated from Smith College with a degree in psychology in 1942 and began graduate studies in the same field at the University of California in Berkeley, but she left that program because she got a job as a journalist in New York. She began the thinking and experimentation that would become her first major work, The Feminine Mystique, in the 1950s after attending a class reunion. What did Betty Friedan believe in? As a housewife herself, Friedan took specific interests in the fulfillment of homemakers, or the lack thereof. Friedan noticed a drastic change in the world from the successful women of the 1920s and 1930s to the invisible housewives that emerged after the war when all the men returned back to take the jobs. In a 5-year experiment, she interviewed women nationwide. Forgot to mention on the last point, she was actually fired from her job when she got pregnant with her second child, because women could be fired for that back then. And her findings about these women led her to believe that gender roles enforced by society, with the woman as a homemaker and the man as a breadwinner, worked as an oppressor to women and caused them to be unfulfilled in their lives. The society said that women are meant to be wives and mothers, so that should be the only option open to them. The Feminine Mystique. This book was Friedan's first major work, and it was published in 1963. In this book, she presents the term feminine mystique, which is the assumption by society that women will be happy with nothing more than motherhood and homemaking in their lives. Friedan notes that most women are actually not satisfied by housewife duties alone, and oftentimes it's impossible for them to meet the standards put on them by society. It's hard to raise kids, look pretty all the time, have a hot dinner on the table, and clean the house and nurture her husband and children and everything else that housewives are expected to do. In this book, Friedan encouraged women to identify their own self within society and work for fulfillment and happiness for themselves, even if it was outside of the home. Because of this work, Friedan is known as the mother of second-wave feminism because her work opened the door for women to question their position in society as free-thinking and hardworking individuals. Beyond Gender is another major work published by Friedan. It was published in 1997, over 30 years after The Feminine Mystique. Now, she was writing and publishing things in between those two, but these are the big ones. This work focuses on troubles that women still face despite the workplace being more accepting of their existence. In this book, Friedan claims that a total breakdown and reconstruction of the economy is what is needed for oppressed groups such as women to be truly equal. Another main argument of this book is that equality isn't just about gender, but it's about everything. She pushes for the restructure of the economy that doesn't just close door on women, but people of color and also queer people. Okay, Betty Friedan and the National Organization for Women. The National Organization for Women was founded in 1966. Friedan was one of the founding members and was the first president of the organization. She actually wrote the shortened version of "Now" on a napkin while she was at a conference. Friedan's goal with this organization was to push women to participate more in the political arena and to give women an avenue to have their voices heard. The organization's first movement was to push for legislation to be passed that protected women in the workplace. And this picture that you see on the screen it actually does not have Betty Friedan in it, but this is a picture of other former presidents of the National Organization for Women. And this is my works cited page. Thanks for listening.